Welcome back to Gen X Unfiltered. Today we're talking about the evolution of cell phones, so grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's go all the way back. Welcome back to another podcast. I'm Kelly.
I'm Steve.
I'm Eric.
And we are here to talk about cell phones.
That's right, cell phones.
Whoa.
But the evolution of cell phones. That sounds fancy.
Yeah, it does.
We've seen it all from
We
cell
really
phones. We
have.
were there from day one.
Like the Zach Morris Saved by the Bell cell phones. I mean, I never owned one then, but that was sort of
that was like the epitome of like cool, and
The big gray brick.
if you had the money,
Yeah.
Gordon Gekko in Wall Street
Yeah.
on a giant brick of a cell phone.
I did not have I mean, I was very young, so I wouldn't have had a cell phone. But
No, not one of those cell phones. That was way too. I can only imagine how much. Like, I mean, that was
No.
obviously for like. You had to be rich, like basically. Like,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't made for like your average consumer like it is now. I mean, it's still a luxury item, really, but
because I
Yeah.
feel like car phones were before cell phone, like the car phones that were connected.
yeah. The first time I had a buddy, we must have been. I was probably about 10, 11, 12, somewhere.
Yeah.
And his dad had a car phone.
Ooh,
Where it had like
Whoa.
he was like I think he was a sales guy or something like that.
Yeah.
So like a company thing, but so it was like mounted in the car.
Yeah.
And it had like the little antenna on the back window and stuff like. So
it had
it
the
was like
cable when you picked it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like a legit phone. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were going to Canada's Wonderland and he was crank calling his wife on it and stuff. We were all laughing.
Good
What a
use of-
badass.
Good to use the phone. But that brings me to my first question for you
Yeah.
guys. Do you remember or how old you were your first cell phone? Steve, we'll start with you.
So the first cell phone
That you owned.
Yeah, so my parents had a phone, and it was like you had to plug it into the lighter, and it was just strictly for emergencies. It was like Cantel AT&T or something. It was like a pay-as-you-go type
Oh my
thing.
God.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think I was driving at the time,
Okay.
but so it was literally just in the glove compartment, strictly for like. I don't think anyone ever used it,
Yeah.
but that was the first one I remember. But me personally,
Yeah.
in college, I had one of those old school, like you see them talking about, like those Nokia ones.
Yes.
I couldn't tell the model number, but it had snakes on it and stuff
The
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember snakes.
That was my first real cell phone. It was like
Yeah.
that was another one. I was pretty sure it was like pay as you go. You
I
buy like
think
the card or whatever.
I think most of them back then were pay as you go
Yeah.
to start. But Eric, we always have Eric has a funny I
Eric
don't
was
know.
late. He's a late bloomer.
I'm gonna let Eric.
I'm still blooming.
We're gonna see if Eric's truthful in his storytelling.
Truthful?
But we've had many conversations, just in general about this, and Steve and I always tease Eric because his cell phone introduction to cell. It's a funny story. So, Eric,
I'm not sure this is so funny. What
It
are we
is.
talking about?
Do you remember your first cell phone that
I
you
do
owned?
remember my first cell phone. It was an LG flip phone. It was the free phone at the time from LG.
I mean, right there, that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
Eric, it's the free phone. But
I
like,
got it because I started working full time.
yeah, so you were early, like well into your
You were.
20s.
I remember you
I was
did
in
not
my
like. You
20s.
didn't like cell phones at all. I remember that you were not a fan of cell phones.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So when we
That's true. I was a little bit of a tinfoil hat wearer early on.
Conspiracy theorist.
theorist. I was like, cell phones give you like brain cancer or
Yes.
leg cancer. Look at all this, people suing cell phone companies because they give them cancer and stuff. And I don't want anything to do with them.
Eric,
I remember that, yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
was very judgmental of us that own cell phones.
I'm
He
not
was. I remember
judgmental.
that.
I,
He
don't
was
know.
like,
was.
"Geez, man, relax. Just want to play snakes."
But I think that
I played snakes. That's true.
I think-
for all my judging, I still played snakes on your phone.
I think that I win for the earliest cell phone.
What was your
owning.
first cell phone?
It was one of those Nokias, like if I saw a picture, they all looked the same
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
It was a Nokia, and I actually got it for Christmas. I think it was when I was 16
Oh,
because I had gotten I had my driver's license. So my mom was very much like it. But again, back then it wasn't like the cell phones weren't used. Like it was
No,
just
like-
emergency.
Oh, yeah,
there
yeah.
was no such thing as like
You
had to
pay for
texting
minutes
or
back
that.
then.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there was no texting, no nothing. Like
So
it was.
I had the cell phone, and I just literally don't even know if it was ever charged because nobody else had one.
Well,
so
you couldn't. Yeah, no, and they were expensive. Like you pay by the minute or whatever. So
Yeah.
like you didn't really use them at all. Yeah.
So that was when I got my first cell phone. And then I don't remember the progression of cell phones per se, but I know I had one in college. But yeah, back then
Yeah.
it cost money to text.
Oh yeah, like per text cost like 25 cents, I
Or
think.
something crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody
No,
texted.
nobody did.
No.
And it was a pain too. You had to do like the 3 you know.
And even-
A, B,
Oh
C,
my
D,
god,
yeah,
typing was such a pain in the butt on those things.
Yeah.
Like the T9N like typing to try
Yeah.
and guess your
That was like
your letter and
yeah,
stuff.
you had to like go through it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got faster as you did it. You got used to it, but it was
Yeah.
a pain.
But
Oh, yeah.
but even then, like it just even though like I didn't use my phone because not many people had cell phones, so it wasn't. It was just you just had it.
It wasn't until like
Smartphone
working and stuff
era,
that
kinda.
really changed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like thinking back, I wish we had some of those old cell phones.
I still have my old Bluey.
Oh really?
You kept
so
I still got it. Yeah.
I think Steve and I.
That was my second phone, my Samsung flip phone.
I think Steve and I had more cell phones than Eric. Like Eric was hardcore with his original cell phone for a really long time.
I kept them long after I never should, to be honest. Like my Samsung flip phone, the battery, you couldn't even make a phone call on it anymore. It was actually bad. Like there's a couple times where I needed to make a phone call. Like I was in like a car accident and everyone was fine, don't worry.
Yeah.
But I had to make a phone call to like, because I was in an accident and then to like call like for a tow truck and the phone died. Like I could call, I was like still on the line. I'm like, I can't. This phone's gonna die
The
in a
one
minute.
time you actually needed it, like for like a legit purpose.
Yeah,
it was, like,
exactly,
not working.
exactly. So I kept my phones way longer than I should have.
I also remember, was that the phone that had that really epically bad ringtone?
Oh, that was my first phone. The LG we referred to early on in the
That's what I
podcast
was
here.
talking
I
to.
remember
That
that,
one,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that one had a really bad podcast. Or not. That's a Freudian slip. Really bad podcast. Stay with us, everyone.
No, we didn't know
Not this, not this. But yeah. So the ringtone I bought, right? It was the theme song from Beverly Hills Cop, that Axel F song.
Excellent. Oh,
But it was
that's
all
It was like
like,
do 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 do. That's the theme song, right?
Right.
So about the ringtone, my piece of crap cell phone couldn't play the ringtone properly to save its life, and I paid for this ringtone at the time too. It was like do do. Pause.
I remember there's like one long note or so. I remember
one
that.
long
It's
note
like,
at the end. I'm
what
like,
is that?
It's Axel F, Steve.
wasn't the official demise of that cell phone like, I don't know, I can't remember what happened, but didn't you end up throwing it on the ground and it broke?
No.
Or am I making that up?
You're making that up.
Oh, then how did that phone, like it just died and you needed a new one?
Yeah.
Well, like all those ones, usually the batteries died or
Yeah, exactly.
things like
Like,
that.
I was off plan so I could get a new one.
Yeah.
And like that one had like a monochrome screen. It wasn't even color.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could get
And
a color flip phone and my life was going to change.
That was the beginning of Eric's cell phone addiction.
Oh, it all started there.
So I know Steve I feel like Steve has an interesting history of phones and
I've had a lot of phones.
such. Can we all have to bring up the fact that Steve was one of those people that thought he was super cool and owned a pager.
That's right.
I thought he was a doctor for a while.
I don't know why I
a
got one.
pager.
I got I think it must have been cheaper, so I don't know why I got one. I carried it for. I thought, you know why? Because I think I was like cell phones were still.
I just hit my nose off the mic.
Oh,
Go
I was
ahead.
like- but I think that's when we still paid for minutes and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh well, I'll get a pager,
But you didn't
and then I don't
have,
have to use my phone as much, so it'll save me money.
Yeah.
But then it was like, well, now people will page it. I
You
gotta
have to
call.
call.
Listen
You
to
gotta
the
call
voice.
anyways.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so stupid. So then I had it for a minute, and then I got rid of it because like, this is stupid.
it was very extra of
Yeah,
you.
for some reason I thought it was going to save me money, and it ended
No.
up costing me more. Story of my life. Most things I do, I just end up spending more money than I should.
But you could have went around, like Eric said, and pretended, well, people could have thought you were a doctor.
No one was going to think I was a doctor.
No.
There was no worries about that.
No.
Like I said, the only cell phone I can remember after my first one was, and this was probably like 2000, I don't know, it was maybe 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. But I had the white, which one was that called? Where the full keyboard.
Oh,
The whole thing flipped up.
Oh, was it like a chocolate?
No, I didn't
it
know
was
that.
like a Swift or Swipe or something
I
like
can't
that.
remember, but
Yeah.
it was all white, and the whole phone, it flipped up to a full-size keyboard, and that was game-changing. But even then,
I had one of those too. Yeah, like the whole face would slide up, and then it was a
But even
full
then-
like, keyboard.
I believe texting, you only had a certain amount of text free when you're playing.
Yeah.
Because I
You probably
still,
did. They started to get like way cheaper, or
They
it was like
did.
hundreds of text. It wasn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so
but
it was
I,
getting more. Texting was a little more of a thing at that point.
It
They
was.
opened up the
Yeah.
gateways on texting for.
Yeah, there's like I think we made like a flat rate.
Yeah.
but it's
something like
still, texting still wasn't like a huge thing.
No, it started to become more
Yeah.
once people started getting like the
full
full
keyboard?
keyboards and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then Was it SMS messaging? I can't remember what they had a name for
It was SMS. Yeah.
like it started to become more of a thing at that point.
Do you remember the phones? It was probably around then or something when you could take pictures with your phones, but you couldn't do anything with the
You
picture
had to
that
like
was on
upload
your
on the
my
internet.
God.
It's so weird, yeah. And the photo quality was terrible.
It was
I
awful.
remember a few times trying to take pictures. You know, it was.
Yeah.
And then
It's like a point shoot camera, basically.
Yeah, those photos never went anywhere.
when the
no,
phones
you never get them off your phone.
Yeah.
and then when the phones could get the internet and it would be like $8,000 to go on the internet for 4 seconds.
Yeah. And the web browser was terrible.
Yeah, some weird like built-in like
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it would cost like you'd pay like again almost by the minute or something like that. Like it was something you pretty much never used.
Yeah, like
But-
my second like flip phone had like internet access, and
Yeah.
it looked like bare HTML when you looked
Oh,
at
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what
I
is
think
this?
that's how you would get like download ringtones and stuff. You could
Yeah.
get through that. You could like go and download them and stuff. But
There
you
was-
pay for it too.
There
Yeah.
was no app store back then.
No, this is all well before any of that stuff.
Before we move on to the next cell phones, this story, I know, I mean, the three of us always laugh about it, but Steve has a really funny story about trying to use a high-tech, non-smartphone, the chocolate razor, I think. That was a huge deal when that chocolate razor phone came out or whatever it was.
The razor?
The razor? Isn't that what you just literally said before?
The one is called the chocolate. The razor's a separate phone.
Okay, whatever the one was, it was the fancy, like, one. And our friend had one.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Are you,
He did have one, but maybe it wasn't for that photo.
Are you talking about the?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking about the photo?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, no, that was definitely not.
Okay, but
Yeah.
my point, he did have one later because whatever.
Yeah,
but
so you're kind of.
I got it mixed up. I'm sorry.
No,
fact checker,
that's fine.
Aaron.
No, I just didn't understand. I wasn't sure we were going. I'm like, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about a razor
So-
phone. I'm like,
No, I
maybe
got
this is a different
I
story.
got
but-
it wrong.
Okay,
but,
no, that's.
my thing was anyway. Steve has a funny story about screwing up the best moment of his friend's life.
Yeah, we were at actually Eric was there too. The three of us went. We were at Wayne Gretzky's bar downtown Toronto. We were going to the Jays game or a hockey game or concert.
Yeah.
So we were down there having a few drinks and stuff that beforehand at Wayne Gretzky's sports bar, and that's where they shoot. They did like a live TV show from there or a radio broadcast, something like that.
Yeah.
And our buddy is a huge Detroit Red Wings fan, and Brendan Shanahan was there, who was like a legendary Detroit Red Wings player. So Kevin, our buddy, was like flagged him down, was going to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
But we still had flip phones. So Kevin had one of the new. It must have been an Android phone or
It was an early Android
whatever
smartphone. Yeah.
it was. But so he gave it to me. He was like, "Here, take a picture of me and Brendan Shanahan." So I went and took the. So I was like, "Which button do I push?" He's like, "Just push the middle button." But so this one still had it was the old school phone, so it actually had a button on the phone.
It had a physical home button.
But there was a home button, but then there was also a button to take a picture.
Yeah.
On the screen.
On the screen was the shutter button.
I hit the home button and then just closed the app down. I also had a couple of beers in me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Kevin, it didn't work. So he fixes the phone. He's like, gives me back to I'm like, what do I do? He's like, hit the middle button. So I hit him and Brendan Shanahan are like actually holding hands, like shaking hands the whole time. I hit the home button again and closed the camera. Like, so I'm like, Kevin, this thing's not working, man. I don't understand what's going on. But every time I hit the middle button, it closes your camera. He's like, so Kevin's kind of like,
He's getting flustered at this
yeah.
point.
He's like,
Yeah.
here, he does it again one more time, gives it back to me.
Yeah.
I did the same thing, hit the home button,
Yeah.
closed down the camera. Brendan Shanahan's like, hey, maybe next time we get a better cameraman, buddy. And left. So he never got a photo with him.
He never got the photo.
It was like his idol.
Oh, he
and
was a
gets
huge
the
fan.
thing.
So I made it up for, I think it was on his, I think it was his 40th birthday. I got him an autographed picture of Brendan Shanahan.
but is it
Definitely
really?
not the same because he's
No.
not in it.
Oh my
but
god!
No.
You should have photoshopped like him in there.
I never ruined this photo too.
And let me tell you, if you ask him about it today, he's probably still scarred for life. We all get
I
a good
felt
laugh.
terrible.
Yeah.
But I remember it because I still had the flip phone, so I didn't
Yeah. You're
being
such
stupid and half in the bag that I didn't.
You're such a boomer.
I know. I felt so
Right?
bad.
That's just a really funny story. I mean, it is awful because it probably keeps Kevin up at night. He's like,
I'm sure sometimes it's not like it keeps me up at night. I felt like an idiot. I buried myself in front of Brendan Shanahan.
Sometimes I see him crying. I'm like, "What are you crying about?" Oh, don't. I know what it is.
Just thinking about that photo.
Yeah, exactly.
Missed
The
opportunities.
photo that never was.
do you guys remember when the cell phones started doing like the smallest cell phone was the coolest cell phone?
I remember the small cell phone trend.
Steve had
Yeah,
the super tiny one.
I had I think it was an LG
Yeah.
And it was a flip phone, but it must have been about like
and it was red,
it was red, yeah. I don't know.
but it was really tiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you fold it in half, it must have been like 2.5 inches tall.
That
So,
was like early
it was-
2000s probably.
It was
Because we were
really
like,
small.
like
and then,
Zoolander like made fun of like how tiny cell phones are getting.
that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
He had the tiny little one. He's like,
Yeah.
Maury?
That's
Yeah.
right. No, so this thing was pretty small.
Yeah.
Luckily, in my wisdom, one day I was out. I was at a fast food place and I threw it in the garbage. I think I just completely lost it. I don't know. I lost the phone. I was like an hour later. I'm like, "Where's my phone?"
Where's my phone? So
I
many
never
people.
found it. So I think I had it on my tray at a fast food place. And I think I threw it in the garbage.
You know, the weird part was I saw you do it. I thought you would join my team. You're like, yeah, Steve's anti-cell phone. Just throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, no. So that one I had it for a while, and I think it was LG one, but it just yeah.
Yeah, and then you also had the full screen flip phone too. I think you said not flip, it's slide phone.
Not the full screen, but where it had the full
Or
keyboard. Yeah,
keyboard,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like I said, I want to say it was like a Swift or something like that,
don't
or
know.
Swipe or something.
Something like that.
It doesn't ring a bell with me, but mine was white, and I was so excited because it was like not gray or black. It was very exciting.
Yeah, I think it was blue.
Yeah. And then for myself, the next thing I remember is just having an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like,
you
I
made the
don't-
jump from like
But can I just say,
full keyboard to smartphone.
out of the three of us, and you guys are like iPhone nerds, who had the first iPhone ever? Me, out of the three of us.
But you did, yeah.
That's right. You did. You were the first one to
I
go into
was.
the Apple ecosystem.
I was. It was very daunting. I remember that. But that was when, like texting obviously was a big thing. And
Well, at that point, yeah, texting was like everyone was texting and stuff like that.
Once
It was-
iMessage was out, it kind of made SMS obsolete in a lot of ways.
yeah, because that was also the time, I don't have the actual year. Maybe you guys know, or somebody can look it up. But like the BlackBerry was huge.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
like I remember the big one with BlackBerry was they had BBM, the BlackBerry Messenger, which is
Yes.
almost like an iMessage, just strictly for BlackBerry. That was
Yeah.
like a huge thing.
Yeah.
BlackBerry was big with like the business world.
It was. I had a BlackBerry for work, and it was
Yeah, because
everybody
had the
had
full
BlackBerry.
keyboard
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was everyone's thing. Like the BlackBerry was great for email.
Yeah.
It was still out of every phone I've had, it was the best phone for typing on.
Yeah.
You could type while driving back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but it was so much easier to type on that thing, like with a tactile buttons. Like you
Yeah.
could easily type on it.
I never had a BlackBerry.
Neither did I.
They always seemed very like.
Yeah, I just had one because I needed one for work, so it was
Yeah.
good for that. But I mean, other than that, it was
Now, I didn't have the iPhone 3. I didn't get it when it first. Excuse me. I didn't get it when it first came out, but I had the iPhone. What was after? Was it because it
You had
just
the-
went like
you had the
3, 4.
4.
you had the 4. I think,
They didn't
yeah.
have like 4.
There was like the
Pro
3, the
and-
3G, the 3GS,
Oh,
and then the 4.
The
Yeah.
4, and then they started doing like the S models, and then now it's the
It's
like
annoying,
the Pro,
yeah.
Pro Max.
Did you guys start with the 4?
I think I did.
I'm pretty sure Steve did.
Or was there a 4S?
I had the 4S.
Or you had the 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Fancy.
yeah.
Well, I was still rocking the flip phone for an extra year, so not so fancy.
And even now, like not so much now, but even once the iPhone era, like Eric was, I mean, maybe he's just smart, but Eric would keep his phones for many years. You weren't a phone changer upper fast.
No, I was a trendsetter, I think, keeping my phone longer than I had to. That's the thing now. People
Is
keep
it?
phones for a long time.
But they don't actually use them. They just
Well, you know
keep
why
them.
people keep the phones for a long time now? Because year over year, like they don't change much.
No.
That's the thing now. It's like, you
Yeah.
know, a minimal up. It's basically the same thing. The camera gets a little bit better,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Maybe like some processing stuff in the inside that you don't really notice, like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, but yeah,
Can
now
I-
it's incremental upgrades every year.
Can I also tell the story about our friend and the phone that he got?
Oh, the BlackBerry?
So funny. Even if
Oh,
he's ever,
boy.
if he's listening to this, I mean, hopefully, but if he's listening to this, it's a funny story. But now it's funny because he's a complete non-iPhone user.
Yeah.
But way back when, I just only remember because the BlackBerry Torch was a big thing. That was like the newest BlackBerry.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember.
like the
That was their competitor to like the
Yeah.
iPhones and
Yeah,
Androids.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
our friend for his birthday was like, I really want an iPhone. Like he was like, he didn't have one. He's like an iPhone,
laughing
iPhone. A bunch of us were at his party. He's like iPhone. And his partner or girlfriend at the time, or girlfriend, was like, he's like, I know she's going to get me a phone. It's going to be an iPhone. I can't wait. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
That was the best part. He was so
And,
positive.
Like, he talked about it.
He knew what he was getting.
He talked about it over the course of the night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
so then I was talking to his, I don't remember if I knew before he opened it or not.
Don't.
Anyway, he went to open his present. He's like, yes. The box was different. It wasn't an iPhone box. And he opens it up. And he did not hide his disappointment.
No, he did not. When he opened it, it was a BlackBerry
Torch.
When he got the torch, he was, he let everyone know that he wanted a knife.
His girlfriend was a BlackBerry fan. So she's like, oh, this is going to be amazing, even though he was like iPhone. Like, there's not anybody on the planet that didn't know that he wanted
Her
an
whole
iPhone.
argument was that she worked in like the cell phone industry, I guess, in one way or another. Like, and she said like the BlackBerry was actually the better product,
Which may have been true.
which may have been true,
but he really wanted the iPhone.
Yeah.
And all of us are just like...
Well, because I think I'm pretty sure I remember he had the iPod Touch, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So iPhone would be like
Yes.
sort of the next progression to that thing. So it was like,
But
finally going to happen.
Ironically now...
Not today, my friend.
Ironically now, he is an avid Android supporter. He doesn't even do iPhones.
No,
he did for a while, and then
he switched over to Android.
But that was just a really funny, like, it was just, we were just like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be... I think he actually slammed the box on the table, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it was definitely
dramatic. But it's a funny story, and they're happily married now, so obviously it
all worked out.
In the end, exactly.
So good or bad, cell phones now. There's arguments both ways. It's pretty crazy. Like looking back to our first cell phones, where yours barely played the ringtone correctly, and
it didn't.
all that stuff to where it is now, where it's like, I don't know, like, I think the good parts about the phones and the technology now for me is like being able to stay connected with people without having to set aside time to make a phone call, where you can send a quick text message to somebody, be like, love you, or hope you're doing good, hope your day's good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, can we even talk about during the pandemic how much the cell phones like saved a lot of people as far as keeping in touch?
Oh yeah, for communication and stuff, definitely.
Oh yeah, FaceTime is huge. Like, I can only imagine, like, so I look at, like, when I was a kid, my grandparents lived in Montreal, which is like 7-8 hours away. So we talk on the phone a lot, but whereas my niece and nephew now, or sorry, my nephews are about 6 hours away from my parents, but they have FaceTime, so they'll
the FaceTime.
So it's just a totally different thing. Whereas I can imagine as a kid having that with my grandmother would be amazing. So like it's really made it like so easy to see people that you may not be able to see on a regular basis for whatever reason.
I remember when the iPhones, the FaceTime feature was a thing, like, came out. Why are you sad? You wanted to say something?
No, I'm just so happy to be here.
He's trying to hold it on.
Oh, I was like, Eric, don't yawn.
It's past the witching hour. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Am I boring
It's my
you?
bedtime. You never.
Oh, I can be louder.
Can you?
I can.
Okay, go crazy.
Turn it off for the people at home.
Yeah.
I remember when FaceTime, I don't know when in the iPhone era that it came out, but I remember when it first like came out, and it was like, I think it could only be used over, I don't remember, but there was
At first, it was just over Wi-Fi.
but I remember seeing people like and it was like, wow, that's really crazy. I didn't understand it. I was like, what? It's a video of a phone call?
No, it's
now
really
it's
cool.
just, I think, I always say this, but I feel like I need to up my FaceTime game.
Yeah, I don't use FaceTime very often.
Me either. To be honest, I don't call people that much. I mostly text.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, the only person I use, my mom will FaceTime me.
Yeah.
That's a very mom thing.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't.
Sometimes my nephews will too, actually. But
the kids will and stuff, but like
they're more hip.
Yeah, it's true. They're But I think, like Eric said, like I mostly. I mean, the greatest thing that ever happened for me was my parents got on the smartphone train and kind of learned it. My dad was very good at like kind of keeping up with some of those trends. So now, like I can text because not everything needs to be a phone call.
No, it doesn't.
No,
Right?
not everything needs to be hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Or,
So it's like, oh, how are you? If I know, it's like, how are you today? How'd your appointment go? And you can do it while you're like at work. You don't have to like wait till you go home and call on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
it can be
I
quick.
I don't know about you guys, but like, are your parents smartphone users?
Oh yeah, more so my mom than my dad.
Yeah.
But my dad has a tablet. He still has a flip phone, I think.
Yeah.
But he has a tablet that he uses. But my mom has an iPhone, so she'll text and stuff like that.
Yeah. What about You, Eric?
My parents have smartphones, but I wouldn't say they're like users of it. They're more like if they have to, they'll use it. I think they use their phones more for like emergency purposes.
Which is good. And I think like that's the thing too. Like, I mean, you know, they're good for emergencies, but especially if you're older and like, you know, driving and stuff like that.
No, they're
Yeah.
super handy. I mean, and one of the big things that made me think of when you talk about FaceTime, like a big thing that's changed now for especially, I'm sure it's probably most places, but especially up here in Canada, is that the data rates have become a little cheaper.
Yes.
Or not even that there's so much, they're cheaper, that they've opened it up more so you can actually
More
use this
data.
stuff more,
Yeah.
you get more data.
Yeah.
You know, so I know for me, a lot of times back in the day, it was, you know, even up until like recently, is you know, always had the back of your mind, like, I don't want to use FaceTime because I don't want to go over
Yeah.
my data for the month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know, whereas now I think I have like 150 gigs of something that's
Yeah.
I'll probably never go over.
I was
Yeah.
the same way because I have like CarPlay in my car, right? But I was like, when I first got it, I'm like, do I really, is this trip worth a CarPlay and using the data right now? I don't know. I have to like think about this, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now I have more, you know, they put up more data, right?
Yeah.
I can use it, not really think about it.
No, exactly. Well, I remember like, when I used to commute to work every day, like I would always have like a reminder on my phone on the 30th of the month to reset my data usage
Yeah.
so I could track it just to see. And I remember looking to see, like I would use like Waze and just to see like, oh, how much did they use? Because I had no idea. It's like, well, I'm not going over because it would cost you a fortune.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas now, most plans I think are fairly
Most plans now in
more
Canada, at
data
least,
than
like
you know.
a lot of them they're unlimited with an asterisk.
Yeah.
You'll get like 100 gigs of data at regular speed.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's unlimited, but yeah, it's throttled.
throttle. But
Yeah.
like 100 gigs of data, like unless you're streaming like Netflix
Yeah.
regularly.
Now I'm a big Netflix streamer, and 100 gigs is still a lot of gigs. But
You can go over it though.
well,
Yeah, it's possible,
Of course
yeah.
you can go over, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. Like I said, good, bad. The arguments are both ways. I think it's pretty freaking amazing what these phones can do.
Oh, it's absolutely insane. Like,
And I like, I don't think it's done yet. Like, there's just, well, even like something simple like recently or ish, the updates on the phones or whatever is like, they've even made AirDrop cooler and easier.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you just
Yes.
tap phones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You bring your phones close and they drop the files.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just,
no, it's
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine where it's gonna be, but like, it's crazy.
well,
And
I mean, as a kid, I remember teachers just like saying, you'll never have a calculator on you all the time, so like you need to learn your times tables because you won't always have a calculator. It's
you
like
were wrong.
you have no
Wrong.
idea how wrong. You don't even now. I can just. I don't have to type it in. I can just ask
Ask
Siri
Siri.
or Google or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
what 9 times 9?
And then
Just tell me.
then just ask ChatGPT to write your essay for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do
it's-
that, kids.
No,
Don't
No,
do
I'm
it.
not advocating for that. Please do your own homework.
No, but that's like it with Siri and stuff like that. Like that's a whole other topic. Like,
Yeah.
but with
Because-
these assistants and stuff like that, like they're not just phones anymore. They're
I think like because the whole chat whatever IA thing, what's it called?
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Chat GPT, like and students were using it to write papers. I think now there's programs that teachers can use to find out if it
Yeah,
was used by
there's
Chat
ways
GPT.
to- yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
Like there's things like, well, you can even do that with photos too. Like you can have programs that will like authenticate where if the photo was
Doctored?
photoshopped or
Yeah.
doctored and stuff. Like it's crazy, this stuff. It's actually frightening, some of this stuff, and I don't even know half of it, and I kind of just don't
Well,
want to know.
they need it because like deepfakes, they can get crazy accurate with those
Yeah.
things. Whereas like
yeah.
I can't tell. Like I saw
Yeah.
something with like Obama and stuff.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
it's like that looks pretty good.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
like
crazy.
it's like that looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, yeah, it's
so it's
crazy.
good to have these programs that can like decipher like, oh, this was actually doctored. This isn't the original video.
Yeah.
Because it's
or
hard to
photo.
convince somebody like that's not
Yeah.
real. It's like,
Yeah.
but no, that's this person saying this stuff. Like I can see it.
But
Yeah.
to kind of tie it back to
Obama didn't say you're the man, dog.
to tie it back to the beginning when we were kind of making fun and teasing Eric about cell phones and his reluctance to get a cell phone,
Yeah,
would you say you're happy with your decision to join the dark side?
I am for now until I get the tumors, but it's fine.
Look, I mean, everything causes tumor.
A long life causes all sorts of things,
It's
right?
not a tumor.
Thanks, Arnold. It's
But
not a tumor.
yeah, I mean, it's just funny. We always talk about, because Eric, he probably doesn't even remember it. Maybe we're remembering it a bit more dramatically, but he was very anti-cell phone. It was funny.
No, I do remember giving
Was
a
I
hard time
was I
back in the day.
a passionate little Eric about the whole thing? I don't think I was.
I mean, it's not like you were walking around with poster boards saying like, "Don't use cell phones."
The end is near. Avoid cell phones.
I didn't fall to my knees and scream or anything when I saw a cell phone in use.
No. But I think like when we'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna get a cell phone," you'd be like, "No," and then I
I'll
don't know.
never have a cell phone.
Never.
But I kind of miss your silver phone.
I might still have it somewhere. I might just go take a look because I kept a lot of my old tech.
That's very on brand for Eric, keeping his old stuff.
Yeah, it's true. I still have Bluey. It exists.
That's what you called it?
Bluey. Yeah, little Bluey.
You did not call it Bluey.
I just been that up for today, but
It's like you did not name your
That's
cell
weird. That's
phone.
my grandmother. My granny had a budgie named Bluey.
Bluey.
You just don't remember me saying that before? But like, hey, call me on Bluey.
No.
Oh,
I do
okay.
remember the phone. So those are the only two phones you had before the smartphone.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had two flip phones, and then I went iPhone.
Wow.
I do keep my phones for a long time.
You jumped. I mean, recently you've been getting new phones quicker. Because
Yeah.
Eric's smart-ish, maybe. I don't know. He's
Thanks
smart.
for the compliment.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, I was going to say, because now, I mean, not all the time, but like you try to not be on contract with your phones.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like if I can, I won't be on contract, so that way I can change my plan whenever a better plan comes up.
Yeah, he's a smart thinker.
I do the bring your own device plans.
I'm just whatever gets it quickest and most affordable.
Yeah, I'm just sort of depending on the deals and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then I get locked into contracts and I can never get out and I'm stuck for life. It's a cross
what
I
I
have to
do.
bear.
I eat the upfront cost, basically.
Eric's smart that way. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, again, it's weird talking about this stuff that you don't think
Well, you
about.
just kind of forget like how much they've changed, like from
Oh my
no
God.
phones to sometimes it was nice not having a phone all the time.
It was. I mean,
You know, having a digital device that's constantly binging and dinging and
it is.
able to get
Exactly.
you anytime you want.
Like I said,
It's sometimes nice to.
The addiction's real.
well, like I
Yeah.
said,
People get
there's,
addicted to these things.
there's good and bad to the technology stuff.
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to, the addiction is bad. And it's like, if it's a thing, you just have to.
No,
kind
you
of-
definitely need to. You know, there's a lot. I know a lot of people like that. That it's like, oh my god, this person like cannot put down their phone.
I think we're all
You know.
guilty of it to an extent. And
Oh yeah, no, I think everyone has their moments where it's like, I don't need to be on this thing right now, but
No.
I
Yeah.
am. You know,
Yeah.
it's taken away a lot of the. You know, you kind of miss out on a lot of stuff happening during the day, not just because you're preoccupied.
You know, the
My-
weirdest thing is like it's just a thing now, right? At like concerts or like any events, everyone's got their cell phone up taking video, right?
Yeah.
And so they're almost watching. They're at a live event, but they're watching it through their cell phones.
No, exactly. You're not actually present.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they're just because they want to capture that song to watch
Yeah.
it again, which you'll
Yeah.
never watch again later either. That's the irony. of it. No one's really watching
Yeah.
this stuff later,
They'll post it somewhere once.
or it sits on your phone for
Yeah,
15 years in the cloud somewhere. But
yeah,
So
so you missed out on experiencing, really being there to experience it, to have it recorded, and then
yeah.
one of my thing, like, and I'm just as guilty. I'm not saying that I'm not guilty at all, but like one of the times I notice it the most that I'm like, oh man, these cell phones suck is like, random example is like either like, being at the cottage and sitting outside around a campfire, and campfires when you kind of like just talk about stuff
Yeah,
or
but
whatever.
that's exactly
and
it. Everyone's-
usually people are on their cell phones, and I am 100% guilty of it too. I'm not saying I'm not, but it's almost like I kind of like, you always hear these people that implement these rules. They go out for dinner and they put their phones in the middle of the table. The first person to
That's
grab
not
their
a bad
phone.
idea.
The first person to grab their phone is to pay for dinner. So I think like that's kind of a fun little thing, because again, everybody, it's just a habit.
I think there are some times like that. Actually, that's a really good idea. Someone
Yeah.
like that,
You
sitting
wanna
around a
just
campfire
talk.
with your
It's-
close friends, the last thing you need is cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a hippie or anything, but it's all about being present.
Well, yeah.
No, and
And
that's
what
exactly
does
it.
that
It's
tell
like-
somebody if they're like, with your friends around a campfire and everyone's on their phone? It's like, well, whatever's on this phone is more important than talking to you right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And
And
well-
somewhere like you don't, especially like you're done like at your cottage with like a campfire, like you're not there. That's not a day. You're not there every day,
Yeah.
every night, 24.
Well,
that's
like-
a special time.
A perfect example is like at the cottage is that one of the most fun times, I don't know if that's proper grammar, but one of the best times is when we are playing board games, because literally everybody is just playing the board game.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
all talking about stuff and we're like, how many times have we done board games at I'm just saying the cottage because that's kind of where we generally do it, or playing cards or something.
Yeah.
And like we all just laugh harder than we've ever laughed before, and it's not because of cell phones.
Because everyone's present in the
Yeah.
moment, and that's
Exactly.
totally gone, and that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
I heard that I think must have been on TikTok or YouTube. Someone saying like, why there's such a rise in like people with stress and anxiety and stuff like that, because we had so many moments when we were younger before we had cell phones and all this stuff where you had to be present because you had to pay attention to what you were doing and this and that. That's all gone now. So you're never really taking that, because that's all mindfulness meditation and stuff is, right? It's just being in the moment.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore, because those moments where you would have to sit there and, like, sounds like, I'm trying to think of an example, like, say, being in line at the grocery store.
Waiting at the
You'd
bus
have to
stop.
stand and wait.
You had to stand there. You had to deal with whatever was in your head.
Yeah.
And you had to just be at the grocery store.
And just be bored.
Exactly. Whereas
Yeah.
now it's like, I don't want to be bored. I don't want to think about this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go on Facebook for 20
exactly.
minutes or Instagram or TikTok. And
I don't want to live in a minute of discomfort.
Yeah,
So,
so
I'm going to just do something fun here.
yes, and I think that's a very good point, that yes, people have lost that forced
Well, of
mindfulness
course.
at times.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
the second you have that uncomfortableness of
Yeah.
quiet time,
Well,
you can just watch TV.
Exactly. Just go back to your cottage talk for a minute there. But when we play board games and stuff, how many like memories and stories do you have from like, playing those board games or something crazy happened or something stupid
Yeah,
happened, right?
yeah.
Versus sitting around when we're all looking at our phones. Like
No,
how many
of course.
how many like stories or memories do you have about like, oh yeah, remember the time we were all like looking at our phones and like
And someone had a
No.
funny meme.
Yeah.
No,
No one talks about those
And I
times.
mean, and that's honestly like probably why, like, I know this is a weird topic, like specific topic, but that's probably why at the cottage, like, I always want to play board games so badly, because I think it's just that, like, without realizing it, it's that moment where you're all just interacting and just like being silly and having
Yeah,
fun.
no, I
and
think that's a good. I think
not distracted.
I'm gonna, when we're up there again, all of us, I'm gonna implement that. No, at night, especially at night, no cell phones by the fire.
And the first person to pull out their cell phone has to, like,
Yeah, give me 20
buy
bucks.
beer or something. I don't
I'm
know.
not giving Steve $20.
Don't pull out your cell phone.
I think there's a few of us that would probably be fine. Some
Yeah.
would be a lot harder.
It would be
It's
it's
nice.
a habit.
I like having a phone out someplace like that, because I like to have a little music in the background or something like that.
Yeah.
But to sit there, especially like I said, that where you hang out with people you don't see on
Yeah.
a regular basis, and
Yeah.
by a fire, like
Yeah.
a lake, at the cottage, it's like,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
last thing you need to do is have your face buried in like a
It's a-
glistening blue, like,
It's
Yeah.
a weird thing, right? Because some people say like, well, I look at my cell phone to unwind, right?
yeah.
But are you unwinding or are you just addicted?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
that's a personal question that you have for yourself that you have to figure
I'm throwing it
out.
out there. I think you're addicted.
Well, I mean, I think everybody's addicted to some level. I mean, how can you not
I'm
be
just teasing.
addicted? It's
Yeah.
like
No,
it's
I
like,
think everyone's on their phone too much. I mean,
well,
it's just,
it's like
Yeah.
it's like sugar. I mean, you take some sugar, you just get addicted to sugar without even knowing it, right? Like it just happens.
No, it's true.
just-
There's definitely times where I'm like, oh my God, I just lost half an hour like flipping through my phone. I shouldn't have done that. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
done that plenty.
Yeah.
I think everyone's done that where you're looking at YouTube, you're on
Yeah.
TikTok,
to
Instagram,
me-
whatever, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, crap, like, yeah,
To
I
me,
just lost a
it's-
half an hour. doing
Exactly. A massive distraction. Like you want to do something simple, like, okay, I'm going to do some laundry, but first I'll look at my phone.
it. Yeah.
You lost that time where like you could have done like something
You could
productive.
have done that
See,
laundry.
to me,
Yeah.
it's not that so much because, like, I don't care. Like, whatever. Yeah, I can be annoyed I missed laundry. But to me, it's the moment
Laundry's a
of...
big deal, right?
No, but I'm just saying, to me, where I get the more ick is more... And again, I'm guilty of it. I'm not trying to say I'm not. Where I get the ick is when you're in a social setting or hanging out with a friend or something, and then it's like, oh, wow, like, that was a waste of half an hour, just both of us sitting there looking at our phones,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what's
that's-
like, icky
yeah.
to me. Like, for me, like, if I waste half an hour and I didn't do my laundry, I mean, oh, well, I didn't do laundry. But that's just me.
No,
It's
no,
more
I mean,
the,
that's a
like,
whole other,
social aspect for me that's, like,
Yeah.
afterwards you're like, oh, that's icky.
Way to devalue my laundry point.
No, but for some people, it's valid. I'm just saying for me.
Well, no, and that's
I'm just teasing.
No, but people will put off, like, you have to do laundry, you have to
Yeah.
clean up, you have to do things, but
Yeah,
it's more fun to look at your phone.
exactly. So I didn't do
Yeah.
anything I actually intended
Yeah.
to do today.
Yeah, and-
because I looked at my phone.
Yeah, exactly. So it's there's a very fine line, and that's why it's good to have like things like they have like the screen time now and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So at least you can,
Kind of monitor
if
yourself.
you want to, there are ways to
But-
try
Yeah.
and track that stuff.
Ultimately, just do what's best for you.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, some
Yeah.
people look at a lot, some people don't.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and
So
that's
yeah,
fine.
just as long as
And-
you're happy and healthy and
Yeah.
productive, then do whatever you want to do.
But-
what do I know? I'm not like we said earlier. I'm not a doctor.
Oh,
I just had a
gosh.
pager.
You're not a doctor.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I just played the part.
I
Oh,
can't
jeez.
believe
I gotta go.
I can't believe
go blue.
you had a pager. That's so like
That
extra.
was yeah.
like so extra.
One of my very, like I said, very dumb ideas.
But I know we kind of went on a little tangent there at the end, but Eric, do we have a quiz today?
Oh, we got a quiz.
Quiz
It's a good one.
time.
It's a good one.
Quiz
Oh,
time.
no.
Well, guys, get your thinking caps on because we are going down quiz lane.
Oh no, I do terrible on these quizzes.
Yeah, so Eric's are tough. It's always like, name the top 5, name the top whatever. It's like, just give me
I
one
don't
answer.
know.
No, it's 5.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
All right. With such enthusiasm.
I'm nervous.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
We're doing top 5 again.
Of
Top
course.
top 5 most popular apps in 2023 worldwide.
Apps
Apps.
worldwide
And this
in
and the metric is downloads. So
Okay.
top 5 most downloaded apps
2023.
2023.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
You're going to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat.
Okay, it's your second guess.
I'm going to say Instagram. I'm gonna say Instagram.
Okay, third guess.
Oh, what's an app? I don't know. Pinterest. I'm going the opposite.
Pinterest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, it's your fourth guess.
Pinterest and I don't think it's Facebook. That's old.
Yeah, one more guess.
I know this is stressful.
Just throw an app out there.
YouTube.
All right, YouTube. Okay,
Okay.
that's your 5.
Yes.
All right, Steve, you're up.
All right. I'm going to throw TikTok in there. I think that would be up there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm trying to think though. I'm not so hip. There's got to be some games in there, something
Oh,
like
I'm
that,
sure there is.
like
Angry Birds or something.
Minecraft. or
Angry
something.
Birds is like
That's why I threw it out there. It's like a 20-year-old
15
game.
years ago.
Yeah, I don't know, like Minecraft.
Okay, it's
I
your
don't know
second
if there's,
guess.
yeah. I don't know if there's a Minecraft.
What was your first
game.
guess?
TikTok.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Instagram, YouTube.
Copycat.
Yeah, well, they're like
I know.
still pretty relevant. For number 5,
I don't know. Nobody likes
Candy
Dead Air.
Crush.
Candy
Okay.
Crush.
No,
Did
I
I
know.
win? I won this, didn't I?
You guys, I don't know what's up with you guys. You tied again.
Jesus. Well, he said half of my ones.
Well, the problem is you and I go at the same time. We need to like split them up more or something because I can hear you or you hear me.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you've had
You're
different.
influencing each other's
That's
answers.
right.
Okay, so I didn't win.
No, you tied again. You both got 2.
All right, let's see.
Oh,
All
What's
right, here we
the,
go. Top 5. Number 1 is Instagram.
Oh, that's
It is
still
Instagram,
popular.
okay.
696 million downloads.
Wow.
Wow.
TikTok was number 2 at 654 million
TikTok.
downloads. Facebook, number 3,
Really?
Really?
Facebook, eh?
553 million
Those
downloads.
boomers.
Fourth is WhatsApp.
Damn it. What's
Oh, I
that?
forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, WhatsApp at 475 million downloads. And then last is CapCut.
Oh, the
Ooh,
TikTok
for the
editing.
TikTok
Yeah.
Yeah,
editing.
TikTok editing at 39 million downloads.
I thought Snapchat would be in there because I heard it has a resurgence.
It's going to resurge, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right at the top 10 was Telegram, Snapchat,
Mm-hmm.
Temu, WhatsApp Business, and Spotify.
Did you know that it's not actually Temu?
What's it called?
Well, that was the whole Super Bowl commercial. They did an ad and like they trolled everybody because everybody's been calling it Temu.
What's it called?
Temu. No.
Temu?
Temu? It's not Temu. It's Temu,
Temu then.
I think. Oh my God. So many people are going to yell
I
at me.
didn't
Ten,
see
But
it.
whatever
Temu's
it-
number 8.
Whatever it is, everybody was calling it the opposite. And then on the Super Bowl, they called it the real name.
Whoops.
Interesting, though. They're all like social media apps, eh?
Except
Yeah.
for
Except for
Temu,
and
Temu.
Spotify
Except for-
music.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Spotify made it in the top 10.
Yeah.
I assumed it would be all social media.
See, I wasn't sure if there would be like any games or something like that, but yeah, it doesn't like I figured TikTok and stuff like that. But I'm surprised Facebook. I thought,
Yeah, I think because maybe worldwide, Facebook still has like an
Yeah.
uptake in other countries.
yeah,
True.
Like North America, I think Facebook's mostly saturated by now.
It's all
yeah, yeah,
boomers now that are joining. Everybody left when their parents joined Facebook.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, no, I know. Facebook, oof, that's been around a long time now. It's crazy.
I know. I know. But yeah, that's sort of it for today's discussion on the evolution of cell phones.
Yeah, it's fun sort of going over our history, sort
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
history with cell phones and
And like usual, we kind of take different paths and get
Yeah,
on
yeah.
side conversations, and it's fun. But comment below if you can on podcasts, we still don't know for sure, or comment on the video on YouTube and let us know what your first cell phone was. I'm curious to hear what their first cell phone
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
yeah. Let us know.
If
Did you guys
remember.
start with smartphones or flip phones? Where
mean-
you land on the cell phone spectrum?
I was going to say half of them probably started with smartphones because they're all like young, but then I'm like, young people probably aren't listening to old geezers like this.
Probably not.
Maybe they are just to laugh.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're probably like, look at these oldies. They
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
They had flip phones that didn't even have text.
We
Paying
had-
25 cents for a text. Good
Right?
lord.
We
We
had
don't-
no cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we remember pre-cell phone when they didn't even exist.
No, we used to have to
Rotary phones and
oh my
Yeah.
God.
push button phones and
Yeah.
touch tone phones
That's
or whatever.
crazy. And then, anyway. But we thank you guys so much for watching and joining us and supporting us. And we're having a lot of fun on this
Yeah, that
journey.
was great. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Another fun episode.
Yeah.
Gen X
and
Unfiltered.
Gen X Unfiltered. And stay tuned next week for our next episode.
Yep.
That's it for now, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, bye,
See you next
everyone.
one. Take care, everybody.